Hey everyone, and welcome. In today's world, we're literally swimming in data. So the big question is, how do we make sense of it all without completely drowning? All right, let's dive right in and explore a really powerful way to tame big data with a little help from AI. Just think about it for a second. Picture a researcher. Let's call her Dr. Emily Carter, and she's just staring at this massive data set. She's got this absolute treasure trove of information, right? But finding the actual insights, it feels, well, impossible. This quote just nails that feeling of frustration. It's like you have all the pieces of the puzzle, but zero idea how they actually connect.
Yeah, I thought so. If you've ever found yourself just staring at a spreadsheet, totally overwhelmed by all the numbers and reports, you are definitely not alone. It's a huge challenge for pretty much everyone these days.
And that really gets us to the heart of our first big idea here, the modern data dilemma. And trust me, this isn't some small little problem. Nope. It's a massive hurdle that anyone from academic researchers to business analysts has to get over to find real meaning in their work. Here's the thing. Our old school methods just can't hack it anymore. The amount of data we have now is just staggering, and it's so complex. Think about it. Analyzing one thing at a time, that's like trying to understand Mount Everest by just, staring at a single rock. You're just not going to see the whole picture.
Okay, so what if there was a better way? A way to actually navigate this data mountain? Well, that's where our next big idea comes in. A new paradigm called AMOS. It's all about moving from that feeling of total confusion to crystal clarity.
So, AMOS. It stands for Analysis of Moment Structures. And I know, moment structures sound super technical, right? But all it really means is the web of relationships and patterns in your data. You know, things like means, variances, how things change together. The key takeaway here is that AMOS isn't just another piece of software. It is a total game changer. A whole new way of thinking about how to interpret your data.
So the big question is, how does AMOS actually do all this cool stuff? Well, under the hood, it's got this incredibly powerful engine, and that's what we're going to look at next, the power of something called SEM, which is all about seeing that bigger picture.
All right, so SEM, that stands for Structural Equation Modeling. And what's so great about it is that it lets us stop looking at things in isolation. You know, one relationship at a time, forget that. SEM lets you test an entire network of connections all at once. It's literally built for dealing with complex stuff.
And here's the perfect way to think about it. Traditional analysis, that's like focusing on one single tree. But SEM lets you step back and see the entire forest. It's all about seeing how everything is connected, not just these little isolated cause and effect chains.
Right, and this really drives that forest view home. I mean, think about it. Whether you're looking at what makes customers happy or what affects a patient's health, none of those factors live in a bubble, right? They all influence each other. SEM is the tool that lets you map out that entire web, so you finally get the complete picture.
But wait, there's more. AMOS isn't just about understanding what's happening right now. It actually helps us peek into the future. And this is where things get really, really cool. We're talking about the new frontier of AI-powered predictions.
So here's how it works. How you get from just raw data to actual foresight. First, you build that foundational model using SEM. Then you bring in something called Bayesian estimation. Don't worry about the name. It's basically just a super smart way to add what you already know from past research into your model to make it stronger. And then for the final step, you let AI work its magic to refine everything, which gets you to those really smart strategic decisions.
Okay, this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But where does the rubber actually meet the road? Let's talk about how this stuff is being used in the real world.
Honestly, the versatility here is just incredible. We're talking about everything from healthcare and market research to academic studies and big corporate decisions. Hospitals, companies, universities, you name it, AMOS is making a real difference.
Let's get specific for a second. In healthcare, imagine a researcher modeling how genetics, lifestyle, and environment all play together to affect patient health. Or think about marketing. An analyst could predict what you're going to buy next based on dozens of connected factors, not just what you bought last week. See? In every single case, it's about understanding the whole system, not just tiny pieces of it.
All right, so we've talked tech, we've talked applications, but let's bring this back home. Why should you care about any of this? Well, in our last section, we're going to talk about exactly that, what it takes to future-proof your career in this crazy data-driven world. Look, the bottom line is pretty simple. The need for people who can do this kind of advanced analysis is exploding. It's only going to get bigger. So learning a tool like AMOS isn't just about adding another line to your resume. It's about securing your future. It's about becoming a go-to person in a world that runs on data. And this quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? Having tons of data, That's just step one. It's the bare minimum. The real magic, the real power, comes from turning that data into knowledge, and then, this is the crucial part, turning that knowledge into action. That's the whole point, right?
So I'll leave you with this final thought. Your data is talking. It's telling a story. There are all these incredible insights just waiting there to be found. The only question left is, are you ready to actually listen?